it is of utmost importance for us to have a university and to have the extension of the university. Likewise, to have the Batin Hiding Highway extended. Those are very important things. But then, time and again, we have seen that they took loan to build up the university in Faba campus, and that university is yet to be completed. So we need to scrutinize those that are in charge of those projects. Proper scrutiny should be taken over the issues. And these are monies that we are going to pay back at the end of the day. So we need not to compromise with it. If the loan is taken, the loan should not be taken for any other cost, or for us to turn a blind eye, wherein the contractor connects with other ministries or wherever to embezzle that fund. At the end of the day, we all have to pay for the consequences of the loan. To be very honest with you, let the government start thinking and think critically to come up with solutions to our problem, rather than depending on loan constantly. You went on a campaign and told the people clearly, and now that you are coming, you have no other plans except to depend on loan. It's not sustainable. And this, in the long run, will not be accepted.
I now invite the Honorable Member for Foji Councillor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, the Minister of Finance, and the respective ministries and their heads, fellow colleagues, honorable members. With two bills, they are the widening of Batin Hiding Highway.
Sorry, point of correction, please. It's a motion, agreement, not bills.
Sorry?
Agreements, not bills.
Okay, sorry. Agreement, Roddy, thank you. And also that of the University of the Gambia, Faraba campus. Honorable Speaker, it's indeed great, as we all know, that a nation without quality education is a nation that will not achieve its dreams in terms of development, in terms of technology, and in terms of enhancing the capacity of governance and the government system. The University of the Gambia project has, long overdue in terms of its implementation. We all know that every project, it has what we call a starting and an ending. As the project has started long since, according to the loans agreement, the project has already did a first lot, and second, in terms of chairs or furniture, other consulting services will also be paid. We all know the current status quo of the University of the Gambia. They live on rental of other institutes. You go to GTTI, you find classroom of University of the Gambia students. You go to GTMI, you find students of the University of the Gambia. You go to Gambia College, students of the University of the Gambia. You go to Daddy Job, students of the University of the Gambia. You go to Greater Banjul Senior Upper or Technical, University of the Gambia students are there. But we believe, in hindsight, if this loan will cut that mass exodus of movement, that will not even bring the comfort of students in terms of knowledge and comfort reading. Sometimes you go to the university, a whole classroom of 50, 60, or 70 students in one classroom. So it's not attainable, and we believe if honorable members, we look at it critically, to work towards approving this, will pay off, and those complaints will be history. The other thing also, the Batin Hiding Highway, we want proper clarification. Honorable Minister, if you could help us better in terms of the road, the design. We have a lot of messages crisscrossing. 3-lane, 4-lane, 5-lane, etc., etc. And the other problem that I've also saw yesterday, as I went through that particular road, the road has been left open. Unfinished job, cars are passing through that particular road. What do you expect at the end of the day? That has not even gone halfway. So we believe authorities, through the ministry, could take measures to make sure they put proper stringent measures for people to avoid that road. And they develop better sideways to make ease movement of people in that particular direction. Honorable Speaker, we believe so. A lot has been said about this road project. Demolition has been made of this road project down from the airport Johnson to Senegambia. The expectation of people, we believe, as they have demolished all sides of the road should also be expanded to that particular end. So we need an informed decision. We need an informed clarity for the people to know. Most of the people are confused. My house has been demolished, but the road sides, as per the look, it doesn't even went halfway line. So these are issues that we want the minister to help us in giving clarity to avail the fears of people. And also, Honorable Speaker, faculties of the University of the Gambia in Faraba campus, it's a whole university. And I know the government, since the initiators of that project, have took the lead way to know the dimension of the entire landscape of that Faraba campus. We want an informed decision, the size of that landscape. And again, we want to make sure that the university take ownership and do a proper fencing of that territory. Or else, they'll end up losing the land, courts, a lot of issues that will happen in that particular area because it's not properly, protected. So we want, so far they're working on those projects. Let them also work on that particular line to see that the line is guided. Or else commotion will start. As we all know, land grabbing is all over in the country. But if they stood firm to make sure they put those realities in place, I think it will also help and make a proper instrumental aspects, checks and balance of the University of the Gambia. So I believe so, honorable members, let's give it a try this time. And again, we tax the monitoring team of the National Assembly. Months, sometimes years, people who are responsible for those projects will not even do proper monitoring. So what do you expect? People will do what they like, they'll act the way they want it, and at the end of the day, you see a failure of a project. This is what had happened. The road was inaugurated by the president, 7 months no visit. The 7-month visit, he was disappointed. So I think we could make regular measures in terms of visiting projects to ascertain and make informed decision that this is a country that we belong to. It is ours. Government comes and goes, project stays. So the better you sanction and develop and institute a better checks and balance of projects, the better we realize our monies where they put. So if that's not the case, we end up taking loan grants, building projects that will not be realized, and then the failure will happen. So therefore, I believe we will act wisely. 2 important bills of this nature will not be left behind, and we will support it, but we will support it with conditions, and we put this case to the monitoring team of the National Assembly Select Committee that we will be following you, and you will also follow the relevant authorities to see that these projects are successful, and if they fail, we've all failed woefully. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, let's note that we are dealing with we have finished our bills. We are now dealing with loan agreements. We now have the honorable member for Lower Salum.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was saying that I'm in support of the loans, the both 2 loans agreement, which is continuation of projects. Already, we all seen what has happened. These projects are undergoing. Again, for the Pt3 Cont loan Schedule 1. The payment provisions is all taken care of. How the government will make payment of the loan. And again, the draft, the budget estimate for 2022, there was a allocation of also for payment of this loan, 186,900,000 something that is also taken care of. Honorable Speaker, the description of the projects entails everything and is well taken care of. The how do you call it? The Badin highway, I don't know, the Badin highway road for from the airport junction to the steel corner. I have a little bit issue because the project funding, it will elapse 2024. Honorable Minister, for instance, the project doesn't finish until that moment. So this payment will continue, or there will be a shortfall of payments to this loan agreement. It might pass today. I guess the honorable members will support it. But if this loan is passed, the project is not there to finish. What will be the repercussions of the payment of this loan? And honorable members, I'm urging everybody to support the two agreements, whereby it can be help the citizens on their economic activities. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Lower Salum. I now invite the Honorable Member for Banjul South.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think my contribution is going to be very short. These two loan agreements are in fact very important because we know the state of the roads, but I'm particularly concerned about the quality. From what I have seen, I have not seen quality roads being built. It is not only a matter of pouring tar on the road, leveling the road. Road construction is an expertise job. I am not an expert, but I have eyes, and from what I have seen, I'm not very satisfied. I think we should be mindful of quality. In as much as I was against the former regime, they have given us some roads at least, because I remember coming back home in 1999 when they were building the coastal road from Senegambia to the airport, and I think we should give them that credit, and that road is still in good condition. From what I have seen last month, the roads that were built by the previous regime, I saw it being ruined. So I guess I expect them to build a better road rather than ruin the roads that we had. And also, I will take you to the Constitution, section 155 of the Constitution, which tells us how we can acquire loans and how we use them. I'm not assuming, I'm asking the Honorable Minister whether the commencement of the road is based on these monies that we are expecting. Because based on section 155 of the Constitution, with your permission, Honorable Speaker, it says that an agreement to which subsection 1 refers to shall be laid before the National Assembly and shall not come into effect until it is approved by the National Assembly. So, Honorable Speaker, I'm just hoping that the monies are not being used until this August Assembly has approved the loans. That is my major concern, because if that is not the case, then the government would be breaking the laws based on this constitution. That is my main concern. But apart from that, I think it's a good initiative. We should only ensure that the roads are of quality and the loans for the university is apt, because we need, I'm an advocate for good education, and without a good environment, obviously, we will not have the quality education. The students deserve to have a very good state-of-the-art campus. So I think even if the monies should be increased, I would have supported it, because I'm not saying that loans are not good. Loans are okay. Even first world countries take loans. But what use are these loans? I think that is what we should be concerned about. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Banjul South. I now invite the Honorable Member for Nyamina Dankunku.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I will first start with the loan agreement between the Republic of the Gambia and Islamic Development Bank. That's deal with the University of the Gambia, which is actually highly welcome. And then I also join my colleague to lend a support. Also, I would thank the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs for coming with such a loan. Because looking at our debt situation, I think these are the type of loan that the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs are expected to contract. Because if you look at the concessionality, it is very concessional. In fact, there is no interest attached to it. All what the borrower do is to pay a service fee. So actually, then the loan is welcome, and then if you look at the tenor is 25 years, and then out of that 25 years, you are given 7 years while utilizing the funds. Then after the 7 years, then you start now paying the loan. So actually, the loan is very concessional. I welcome the Minister of Finance for actually contracting such a loan. And if you look at the loan again, if you go to page 8, you know, it tells you how many percentage, how many amount is going to civil works, how many amount is going to furnitures, consultancy service, audit service. So actually, the loan is actually very detailed. So, Honorable Speaker, I will not dwell much about this loan on the issue of the university, because for me, when you are giving a loan, especially a country like the Gambia for 25 years, actually it is really welcome. On the Batin-Hadin Highway, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Minister, I just make an observation. I don't know, maybe if you can help me. On the order paper, 6 million dinar, Amakweti dinar, is equivalent to 19,800,000. But if you go in the loan agreement that we are given, you can see a figure of 20 million US dollars. And then the other figure there is 14 million US dollars coming from two different banks. Two different banks. I assume the 6 million Kuwaiti dinar is equivalent to $20 million, because when I did my calculation, if you looked at the my little arithmetic, the rate used for the 19,800,000 is at 3.3. If you multiplied it by 6 million, you get 19,800,000. But what concerns me actually, what we have in the document is actually 20 million. So I don't know how we can actually marry this thing. I think the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs will actually help us. And then on this loan, Honorable Minister, as I was saying on the previous loan that deals with the university, you are giving the tenure of say 25 years with a grace period of 7 years. But I have been trying to get the tenure of the Batin-Hardin Highway. Yeah, on the Batin-Hardin Highway, I can get a period of a grace period of 3 years. But after that 3 years, I cannot see any tenure. And then I believe the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs would actually help me to know the tenure. Then my other issue, that which I need a clarification also, you know, if you are giving us something, we will actually want you to make it very comfortable for us. You see, the bill of quantity on the loan agreement at the university, the bill of quantity is completely set out. But when you come to the to the Batin-Hardin Highway, you just give us the artwork, paving, consultancy. You don't give us the bill of quantity. And maybe in the near future, as members of parliament, we will actually want to know how much is going on construction, how much is going on consultancy. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I actually support the the two motions, which are timely and very important for our country. Because nowadays, if you look at the Batin-Hardin Highway, the description, it is telling you they are trying to mitigate traffic light. If you cross from this assembly at 4 o'clock and you want to go where I live, Fajikunda, it took you almost 2 hours before you get there, or even more. So any decision to try to make sure that to lose the traffic is highly welcome. So I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Nyamina Dankungu. I now invite the Honorable Member for Kantora and Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Allow me to join my honorable colleagues for lending my support to bless these two loan agreements for us for ratification. Of course, alluded by Honorable Member of Banjul South, this is actually in accordance of Section 155, subsection 1, 2, 3A and B, that no loan shall be contracted without coming to this August Assembly to get it approved into resolution by a majority. I thank the government of the day for fulfilling those constitutional provisions by coming to National Assembly, contracting loan on behalf of the government, on behalf of the country, but coming to people's representatives for them to give them the final blessing before the loan comes into effect. However, Honorable Speaker, governments always charge the responsibility to make sure that the welfare of people are taken seriously. Government cannot lose in filling responsibility. Regardless of what circumstances one may find yourself, you cannot shy away from those responsibilities. It is in that spirit, government thought it wise. No government can make it through resource mobilization internally to address the pressing concerns or pressing needs of people. You must be dynamic in the sense that to go around, get highly constitutional loan, bring them, invest them into productive sector of economy that also will generate income for a government. And that is the trajectory that this government has taken in terms of investing in our productive sector of economy, such as education. No nation survive, or no nation's future is brighter if you play with education. So investing in the education sector is the right direction for this government and Parliament coming together to make sure they approve such money is the right thing to do. Secondly, in terms of infrastructure, this could be seen today that Gambia is contracting loan, but in the long run, this loan, if properly utilized, would create revenue base for the country. We've seen countries contracting loan, making bridges, toll gates. You put a toll gate on those roads and generate revenue. So what is important is not what the amount of loan in question, but the important thing is that where do you want to put the loan into should be questioned. And I think with this direction, to widen the Batin-Hadin Highway, to ease traffic, to ease communication, is the right thing to do with that money. Honorable Speaker, people might say that borrowing is not the way out. Of course, I want to tell this August Assembly, America is one of the highly indebted countries in the world. And if you look at statistics, Gambia is not even ranked the heavily indebted 10 countries in the world. You hear the Angolas, the Benin Republic, and other countries. So therefore, we are in the right direction. Honorable Speaker, I think honorable members would bear me or believe in me that this loan, if properly utilized, would really actually yield dividends and catapult this country to the high height. I would also ask Honorable Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs to please help us as members of Parliament for effectiveness in our oversight functions and responsibility to help break this loan component into its use for us to know how much has gone into the civil work, how much is going to consultancy. So at the end of the day, when our committees or select committees goes out, they will know where to put their questions or they will know where to go to make sure that what has been ratified in Parliament, the replica effect is on the ground. So it's important for us to also put that thing in the back of our mind. And I want to seize the opportunity to thank all of them for showing positive sign towards this thing. On that note, without much ado, I want to thank you so much for giving me the floor, and I thank them also for their indulgence. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Majority Leader and Member for Kantora. I now give the floor to the Honorable Member for Lower Badibu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. First of all, I would want to thank Honorable Minister of Finance, as well as the Vice President, and my National Assembly colleagues, security forces present here, as well as the media. The bill before us, the two bills, namely the extension of Batin-Hadin Highway, and of course the finishing of the second phase of the University of the Gambia is of paramount to the lives and livelihood of Gambians. First of all, the University of the Gambia. No nation can achieve progress without having a sound educational policy, or without having a good education. For example, we've been seeing people with good educational qualification. Let me put it in this way. Education is key to development for any nation. A nation without highly qualified people will find it tough to achieve what it is looking for. Coming back to the extension of Batin-Hadin Highway, I think this initiative by the minister will lead to the economic growth of the Gambian economy. We are seeing our sisters and mothers who are, of course, flying from the Congo East and North, most of them, they use that way. So if that way is constructed fully, it will ease the traffic of their goods, which they are taking from the growing centers to the market. So I believe that this Honorable Assembly, most especially this Assembly, should give its blessings to this bill. We should try and approve it, so that, of course, what we are yearning for, we can achieve it in totality. So, Honorable Speaker, I thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to air out my concern on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member Fuloa Badibu. Honorable members, I have no more on my list. I now call upon the mover of the motion, the Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Minister, to respond to issues raised and wind up the debate. Honorable Minister.
Good evening, Honorable Speaker and Honorable members of the August Assembly. Thank you very much for all your contribution, which is very enriching. I will attempt to respond to the questions and contributions raised during your deliberation. The Honorable MP, Member of National Assembly Member for Woolly East, asked a question on the late payment. Unfortunately, it so happened he's not around, and that if payment is not on time, the balance will be transferred to charity. I think I can explain this. In Islamic finance, there is no interest and there is no penalty. However, in a bid to ensure that clients pay on time, you are technically charged a penalty if you don't pay on time. But because Islamic finance principles don't allow the bank to absorb or receive penalties or interest, that amount is escrowed and transferred into a charitable account, which is used for the charitable activities of the bank. So that is the explanation he was seeking. Okay. Well, okay. Yes, and on the disbursement, on the signing, yes, indeed. That's why we present this loan agreement today. We are at the tail end. Since the loan was signed, we have 6 months to get it ratified. Otherwise, the agreement will be lapsed. So that's why we urgently put it as part of certificate of urgency. Diligent disbursement will be ensured, because as we know, there are service fees attached, and we'll ensure we disburse on time. For member for Kuwait, but Brikama North, of course, the slow pace of the University of the Gambia suffers from the resource mobilization. But now with the ratification of this agreement, we believe the funding will be close for the effective implementation. And we have just concluded from our last trip to the annual meeting of IDB, the last outstanding financing close. So we believe the pending issue of the financing close is not an issue anymore. Financing has already been closed, and we expect the project to continue. The member for Banjul North raised very, very valuable concerns on the impact of the project and requested whether these projects have positive IRRs or net present values of the project. These are social projects. These are not commercial projects. And in social projects, you look at what they call the economic impact of the project, not the internal rate of return or net present value. Those are ideally suited for commercial projects. But as a government, they are what they call the spillover effect, the positive externalities of a project. Once these roads are constructed, you will see the level of economic activity in terms of ease of traffic congestion, the quick movement, the saving in fuel costs because of lack of traffic congestion. All of these are calculated to arrive at an economic impact return, into economic rate of return, not the IRR or NPV. Debt ceiling legislation, yes, but we are not yet there. Debt ceiling is a trouble for even the US. We remember how sometimes their government was going to be closed down because they busted the debt ceiling. But notwithstanding, we don't need to get to a debt ceiling. There is what they call debt sustainability assessment that is periodically conducted by the government in collaboration with the partners to ensure that we have the capacity to service any debt contracted. That is why any debt that the government is going in for must meet the concessionality requirement. Whether the member for Kiang West, whether the funds will be put to good use, of course. It's morally imperative that government will not take money and not put it to good use. By default, I'm sure you all trust us. That's why we are in the positions that we are in, and will ensure that the resources are put to the best use. While loans and the loan repayment for member for Nyibintang, yes, these are long-term projects, and as you can see, our domestic resources are not adequate enough to meet our recurring expenditures, not to talk of long-term capital projects. As such, until such time that we have adequate domestic resource mobilization, long-term projects will continue to utilize loans for financing. Of course, we cannot comment on repayment or embezzlement of contractors because it is within our moral and ethical responsibility to ensure whatever we do it right. So I will not, but just be rest assured that the executive is mindful of that. Project implementation, Lower Salong until 2024, and if this project deadline is not met, what happens? Of course, the project, when you're contracting, has a timeline. It is never an open-ended. The objective is that all effort will be done to ensure that it is completed and executed within the timeline. Member for Banjul South mentioned about the quality of roads and what are the uses of loans in these constructions, which I've mentioned, I've responded to. But of course, I think we have deliberations from the esteemed members of the House, particularly the Committee on Projects. They will be also doing the oversight role to ensure that the constructions are fit for purpose and value for money. Member for Nyamina Dankunku asked some questions in terms of the tenure of the facility. Yes, it was not mentioned, but if you look at the agreement, the schedule there too has an amortization table, which is for 50 periods, and each period is semi-annually, so that makes it a 25-year facility. And in terms of the breakdown of the facility, 18 million is for civil works and $1.5 million is for consultancy. There is a slight movement in terms of the total because of exchange rate movement, even though the equity dinner is pegged, but you have exchange rate movements occasionally. So without much ado, thank you very much. This is the points I took note of, and I hope I have satisfied in clarifying your points. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for ably responding to issues raised by honorable members. Honorable members, as promised, I will put the question separately for each of the motions before us. I now put the question, be it resolved that this Honorable Assembly do ratify the loan agreement between the Republic of the Gambia and Pt3 Fund for Arab Economic Development for the widening of Batin Hardin Highway road project amounting to 6 million Kuwaiti dinars, equivalent to 19.8 million US dollars. Those in favor, please say aye. Not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. I now move on to the next loan agreement. Let me put the question. Be resolved that this Honorable Assembly do ratify the loan agreement between the Republic of the Gambia and the Islamic Development Bank regarding the development of the University of the Gambia Phase 2 project amounting to US $7 million. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. On this note, the two loan agreements have been ratified. Honorable members, as we come close to the business of the day, I want to seize this opportunity to thank on your behalf the Honorable His Excellency the Vice President and Cabinet Ministers who you will observe have been with us from morning to now. It only indicates the importance they attach to this institution and to government business in general. Your Excellency, the Vice President and the Cabinet Ministers, we are very grateful and we thank you very much. To you, the Honorable Minister of Finance and your technical team, we are grateful that you led us through the budget estimates and the loan agreements. We thank you very much. Honorable members, finally, be resolved that this August Assembly do stand adjourned, sine die. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. The Assembly now stand adjourned, sine die. I thank you all, honorable members, for your contributions, your very rich contributions. And I think you definitely deserve commendation. And you also deserve to be representatives of your various consequences. I thank you very much.